Welcome to When We Were Young, a podcast series on Caribbean stories from long ago and the lessons we can learn from them today.
Welcome to the very first episode of When We Were Young. I'm your host, Irma Graham. This podcast series represents Udall Caribbean's commitment to document precious Caribbean-inspired stories and events as told by people of Caribbean heritage living at home, as we call it, or living abroad. A wise man once said, "Remembering brings perspective, and perspective brings hope." These stories have been carefully curated with the purpose to inspire. I'm truly excited about this series and especially about today's episode. A few days ago, I had the pleasure of speaking with U.S. Virgin Islands calypso legend, King Louis Ible Jr. from St. Thomas. We talked about everything from family heritage to life choices. I hope you are as inspired by what Louis shared as much as I was.
My name is Louis Ible Jr. I was born on the island of St. Thomas in the Virgin Islands. Retired, from the competition side, but I create music, whether it's for jingle or for if one of the kids may be running for the competition, calypso competition, I might help him or her in that regards. And every now and then, somebody might ask me to do something. Like we just finished doing a project for the COVID season, more to tell people that this too shall pass, that it's everything is just for a time. All we have to do is just basically again, like the Lord said, just love each other and respect each other and stay within the confines of the rules of the COVID season. And this too shall pass, and we'll get back to hopefully some sense of normalcy, whether it be what we knew before or, like they said, a new normal. We just have to, take our time. This too shall pass. My father, originally from Santo Domingo, transplanted to St. Kitts with his brothers and sisters. My mom, originally from Montserrat, transplanted again from Montserrat over to St. Kitts, where they met. I think it was 5 kids in St. Kitts. And then saw the opportunity, to help build the Virgin Islands and came to St. Thomas and got an 5 or 4 other children. And when I said that, because my father had, other children outside the family that, we recognize as our siblings. So I have 5 brothers and 5 sisters, so it's 11 of us. The island, though, that I'm more connected as far as heritage would be the Virgin Islands, even though whatever they did within the household was, very much a part of their culture in St. Kitts. So the food styles and the music and the holiday trimmings, whether it was in Christmas or Carnival in St. Kitts would be Christmas time, and all of those things came from St. Kitts. So most of the heritage was from that particular island.
Being of Caribbean heritage means different things to many different people. Here's what Louis had to say about what being a U.S. Virgin Islander means to him.
Having, the different cultures from my family, from my father, coming from Santo Domingo, raising up in St. Kitts, mother from Montserrat, raising up in St. Kitts, coming to the Virgin Islands. It's a mixed Caribbean essence. Having the opportunity to be in the Caribbean, yet under the American flag, I feel like I won the lottery. I tell people that being Black, born in the Virgin Islands, which is part of America, it gives you such a sense of pride. At the moment, America may not be in its greatest prominence as it used to be back in the day when I was a kid. But at that time, it was very rich and the more dominant country, throughout the world. So there was a sense of strength and bravado that comes with being a part of something so rich.
Being raised in the U.S. Virgin Islands, considered to be a melting pot of Caribbean cultures, is a one-of-a-kind experience. Let's listen in as Lewis takes us back in time as he recounts some of his fondest memories of growing up in the USVI.
Family. Our family was big, and I always tell people that I didn't need to go next door to play with friends and family because there were 10 of us in the house. Even though I was one of the youngest ones, I was the second to the last. There were still at least, 5 more siblings before me that didn't leave to college as yet, that I could have bounced my brains out, whether it was for homework or we could have played ball in the street or, make carts to ride down the hill, those kind of stuff,
Lewis recalls one of his favorite phrases, often heard while growing up on St. Thomas.
Every tub got to sit on its own baton, Every man got to stand on his own 2 feet, So that's one that I remember, and I try to bring my kids and grandchildren up into, to standing on and remembering, instead of having to lean on somebody else, know that you have to stand up, for yourself and for your family and for the things that you believe in and, and want people to respect you for and have the respect that you want,
An exceptionally talented man, I was pleasantly surprised at how down-to-earth Lewis was during our interview. His musical prowess, just one of his many talents, was evident throughout our talk. That's why I can't say I was too surprised at his response when asked to name a Caribbean historical figure he admires and why.
It would probably be Bob Marley, because his music was so influential to me as a young kid, I saw the other day on television a picture of Obama and this young kid looking at him, actually his hair and touching his hair, And I never saw it from the perspective of the photographer said. He said, here it was a young kid touching the president. The president is bending over so the kid could reach, over and touch him, his crown, his head. And he's saying, here's this young kid touching the skin of a person the same color as him, who's the president, the hair, texture and everything like him, So knowing that we had all the music, again, being American and global in that kind of a way, we had the influences of the Jackson 5, who I, love too as well, and Temptation and all of those. Bob Marley, he walked the same grounds, kind of like I walked the Caribbean streets that was unpaved and didn't have gutters properly and different things. So I was able to, kind of touch, in a sense, him in that kind of spirit as well. So he would be the person from a reggae perspective. Sparrow was, my kind of guy, and the kind of music that I sing, in a sense, with a double entendre. It would be him because he sang a lot of music with double entendre, even though his may have been a little bit more risque and playful and, of the sexual nature. I just like the fact that he played on words and in his music. I tell people if I was given the opportunity to bring one person back from the dead, so I could just touch them or see them for a day, the one person would be, again, Bob Marley. I my sister going to ask for my father, my brother going to ask for my mother, so they're taken care of. I just got to find a place to find where it is, so I could say hi to them and touch them and hug them, you know what I mean? But give me my Bob Marley, so I could touch him and say, brother, you just don't know, what you did to the Caribbean or for the Caribbean, So give me that day with him.
As we grow older, hopefully we are growing wiser. Lewis, who has been on the VI Calypso scene for more than 3 decades, shares one thing he wishes he knew earlier in life.
You're going to get old quicker than you want to. um, I conduct myself in a way where I try to tell people that I love them as much as I can, because I realize that, one, and not that I didn't felt love in my household, because there was love all around, but we just didn't say it. We just didn't hug each other like that. You just know that my father, his energy, the way how he went out to work every day and be tired when at the end of the day, the way how he worked to get the houses that he got, left everybody something, that there had to be some sense of love, you understand, within it, and the way how he cared for his family, kept his family together. He made it the right choices from coming from St. Kitts to here, from my perspective, moving from Santo Domingo to St. Kitts, the right wife, and all of that. You get a sense of love. But today, it's something, because we've gotten past a lot of the early struggles of life, from, you mentioned slavery, to becoming comfortable within our skin as black people. We gotten kind of complacent with it, and we don't tell people that we love them as often as we should. So I try to tell my grandkids, my kids, that I love them. My son, for example, sent me a picture of him, trying to remember exactly what he was doing. But you know what it was? This is what it was. You know, the little emojis that we make of ourselves for the iPhones specifically, we could do a little emoji, little drawing rendering of ourselves, right? So he sent some comment with a little emoji, and I said, I don't think he's ever seen mine. So I sent him mine. Now, his was just one of the typical ones with the sun, smiley face kind of a thing. And then once he saw mine, he sent me one of his. And it warmed my heart in a way. And this is my son, he's 36. You understand? He's a big man, And it warmed my heart in a way to see that he did that, and he sent me one because he saw mine and he wanted me, and his looked like him, and mine looked like mine from our perspective. And I said under the text, I said, I love this kid. And he replied that I love you too, Dad, And I don't want him to ever think that I don't love him. You understand? And I think by sometimes just saying those things, it prevents the younger generation from going out and committing some of these heinous crimes, because there's nobody telling them that they love them. And I do it. I do it with all of them. Once I get a chance to talk to them, I look for all the sunshine in all the dark spots that they may have, and say, something, you got to worry about it. I love you, man. Listen, we got this. Think of us as we walk around on a daily basis, right? That one day, how much time does anybody around you say that they love you? Hardly. I mean, I'm not talking about from your household. You go into a store. The energy that person brings from home with that situation that they have home is usually one that it's toxic enough to spoil your day, just trying to have her cashier your groceries through. So her energy, and push-up face causes you to not have a good extended day. But if you go with a beautiful smile and a wonderful energy and say, hey, sweetheart, what's happening? And crack a joke and change her whole perspective. So she ain't mad no more. I ain't tell you she in love with you, but she ain't angry like how she was 2 seconds ago. So her disposition has changed, and the groceries kind of go by seamlessly than before. It would have been one, grumpy young person or old person, depending on their age. And you help to change that, and even not saying the word, just your loving energy makes the difference in that person's life for that moment. And she could never say that this person was sour to her and was mean to her. She could always say, that was the guy that came here, and every time he come in here, he cracked some crazy joke. Even I didn't think they were funny, He tried, He tried to make my day better than it did. The proverb that I live by is not a Caribbean one, but if India and Gandhi is Caribbean, then it would be one of his, which is be the change that you want to see. So I always wanted to impact change, so wherever I work, wherever I go, I want to show people that there's a different way, there's a better way, or find a way to try to stabilize the way that company or life, whether it's in a relationship or, stabilize the situation so it can maintain the level that it's at. Good, hopefully, most of the time, not bad.
Though we spend a large amount of our childhood in school, some of life's most valuable lessons aren't taught in the classroom. Rather, they're caught through observation and personal life experiences. To close out this interview, Lewis shares one of the most important life lessons he learned from his father.
I had an opportunity to be brought up by a great man, my father, and, his wife. One of the things that happened one night was, as a family that had friends and other families that come over, there would be a little bit of, drinking going on. And at times when the drinking got a little bit too much, I saw a difference in my father. Like he would, like everything that we didn't do, like if it was time to wash dishes and I didn't wash the dishes right, there would be a little extra pepper on top of his tongue. You understand? Not that he was a cussing man, but that there was heat coming from it, right? Like, why you didn't wash the dishes properly? That kind of thing. So, and those were the times that I didn't like him the most. When he got a little bit inebriated. So I said that to say this. So because of that, I have made it my goal to never allow alcohol to be the leader of me. Not that he was bad, he was not a bad person. Never. But I saw the side of him that I didn't want to even get to that level. And I have vowed that I don't, either the person that I am seeing or myself, this is not going to control our life. And I see in our world that a lot of people use those opportunities as an excuse. Like, my father used to drink, so I drink in too. So I could be that type of person. You understand? So that's his excuse. So the reason why he is drinking is because, and he is a drunkard, is because his parents used to do it. There's always an option. There's always an option, and there's always a better option than the one that sometimes in most cases that we are choosing. So you have to take what that person did and again extract the brighter side of you out of it. And so that's what I would want to pass on to the kids, that you don't have to do bad. You could look at the bad and have the bad be motive for you to do better, be better. Be the change that you want to see. If you didn't like the house being dirty when you was a little kid, then when you get your own house, make sure it's clean now that you're a big person. You understand? So clean the house. Don't do bad. Be the change.
Thank you for joining us on this inaugural episode of When We Were Young. We'll see you next time.
This has been When We Were Young, a podcast series on Caribbean stories from long ago and the lessons we can learn from them today. For more information about this series, visit us at udalcaribbean.com.